was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So this is one that I've been waiting to share with you for a while, but the case was completely sealed until recently, and there were a lot of details missing. So I'll explain all of that in a minute. But 37-year-old Pennsylvania resident Samuel Lazar was seen on the Capitol grounds. He was wearing a tactical vest, and Lazar's vest had the most ironic patch on it. It said, quote, "Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." Yeah. I don't think it said that in the Bible. I could have sworn there was something in there about thou shalt not kill, but yeah, I'm not a biblical scholar. So anyway, Lazar also had ski goggles with him, which he put on from time to time to protect himself from the chemicals in the air. And Lazar was carrying some chemicals of his own. He was seen on video. He walked up to a police line and he pointed a canister of pepper spray at the police. Then Lazar was seen walking along the police line and he was pulling on the barricades in front of the police. He simultaneously, and it seemed by accident, was deploying some of his pepper spray that he had in his other hand. So the police ordered Lazar to get back, and when he refused, they shot chemicals in his direction. So Lazar retreated at that point, but then he came right back, and then he deployed his pepper spray at two officers. As a result, one of them lost their vision for a short period of time, and so, they're now down another man on the police line. So a while after that attack, Lazar approached the police line again, and he flipped them all off. He was screaming into his bullhorn for the mob to move forward. Then Lazar started yelling at the police through his bullhorn. He repeatedly yelled at them to stand down and to, quote, "Get the fuck out of the way, tyrants." Lazar also warned them, quote, "You now have fucking enemies on both sides." And then he turned to the mob and he repeatedly shouted through the bullhorn, quote, "Let's get their guns." So sometime later, Lazar left the Capitol grounds and he spoke with someone who was recording a video. So Lazar was seen and heard in this video saying, quote, "They maced us, those tyrannical pieces of shit, and we maced them right the fuck back. And now they're taking the building. They attacked the people. We have a right to defend ourselves. Fuck the tyrants. There's a time for peace and there's a time for war." So another person off camera asked Lazar a question and he responded, quote, "I was right at the front of the tip of the spear, brother. That's where you gotta be." So Lazar was arrested on July 26th of 2021, and he was charged with assaulting officers, civil disorder, entering restricted grounds, and physical violence on restricted grounds. Then sometime after Lazar's arrest, his case went completely dark. So it wasn't until September of 2023 that the press discovered that Lazar had pleaded guilty to assaulting officers with a dangerous weapon. And that was all the way back in March of 2022. So based on that crime, Lazar faced up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. But the details of his plea and sentencing were completely unknown. And no one knew why. That was the weirdest thing. What we now know is that the prosecutor requested 3 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. And it's also been revealed that Lazar cooperated with the government in other January 6 cases, and he aided investigators in a murder case. So according to the government sentencing memo, Lazar, quote, "debriefed with the government multiple times, offered information regarding security breaches at a federal detention facility, gave the government valuable information with respect to other January 6 defendants." And they say he'll be testifying in the murder trial, which is totally unrelated to January 6. Don't know any of the details yet, but I guess we'll find out. The prosecutors left numerous of details out of Lazar's sentencing memo. including Lazar removing a police barricade. So I don't know why, but the sedition hunters discovered videos showing Lazar removing that barricade and then taking part in additional breaches of the Capitol grounds. For some reason, that wasn't introduced into evidence. There's also 2 full pages of his sentencing memo that are still redacted. So they're under the section related to the plea deal. I don't know if we'll ever find out what that is, but what we do know is that Lazar has a bit of a criminal history, definitely has a penchant for violence, although all of his previous convictions were for misdemeanors, up until now. In 2004, Lazar was convicted of criminal mischief. He received a sentence of time served, which was 41 days in jail. In 2012, Lazar pulled alongside another person's car, they say. He started screaming and cursing at that person. And then I have to assume this was a road rage incident. And they must have stopped at some point because the prosecutor says that Lazar punched the fender off of the victim's vehicle. And so he was convicted of disorderly conduct and engaging in fighting. Then in 2016, Lazar lied on a form to obtain a gun. So the form asked, have you ever been convicted in any court of a felony or any other crime for which the judge could have imprisoned you for more than 1 year? And it said, even if you received a shorter sentence or just probation. He marked no. Now, luckily, the gun store owner found his criminal history, and so he refused to sell Lazar the gun. And then according to the gun store owner, when he explained to Lazar, when he told him, hey, I checked your background, shows that you have some pretty serious things going on there. Lazar told him, quote, that he didn't think his criminal history would follow him here. So U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson presided over Lazar's case, and she sentenced him to only 30 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. And Lazar had been in prison since his arrest in July of 2021, so he was just released in September of 2023. By the time we all learned that he had taken a plea deal and a cooperation deal and he had been sentenced. So there you go. He is now a free man. He now has a felony conviction on his record. Guess who won't be voting for Trump in November? But we'll see what he does. If Trump loses again, who knows? So I'll let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.